Hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about water on Earth and the ISS, or the International Space Station. How water works on Earth is that it participates in something called the water cycle. Now when we say the word water, I think about a big ocean or a big lake, a big body of water, of liquid water. Now eventually some of that water will do what we call evaporate or evaporation. This is when our liquid water turns into a gas, which we call water vapor. Now, as the water vapor lifts up, it will eventually lift up with enough water vapor, and in the sky, a bunch of water vapor will come together to form clouds. This is called condensation. Eventually, the clouds will get heavy, and the water vapor will turn back into a form of precipitation. There's multiple types of precipitation. Can you think of any? I'm thinking of rain, snow, and hail. These are all different forms of water, and sometimes they are even different states of matter. Now, as the water precipitates, as it falls to the ground, it can fall into a big body of water back into the ocean or the lake that we started off with. But sometimes the water lands on land. As you can see, I have a big mountain and there is rain falling down onto the mountain. When there's enough water, the water will eventually start coming down the mountain and running along the ground. This is called surface runoff. Eventually, this water does make it back to the big body of water, or it evaporates and starts the whole cycle over again. Now, there's two other things that can happen. When we have surface runoff, sometimes the water gets absorbed into the soil. Gravity then pulls the moisture or the water down from out the soil, and it goes to the rocks underneath the soil, underneath the ground. This is called infiltration. There's also something that happens when leaves of a plant have water evaporate from it. So plants have all this water inside of its bodies and in the leaves, but sometimes when it gets hot, the water will evaporate from the leaves, and this is called transpiration. So now that we understand how water works on Earth, we have to ask ourselves the questions. How do astronauts use water on the ISS? And we have to remember, how do we use water on Earth as humans? When I was brainstorming, I came up with using a shower, brushing my teeth, and flushing a toilet. Now, these three things all have water in common, but more specifically, running water. When we turn on the tap, water comes out, but not everywhere on Earth is like this. And the ISS is also not like this. So on the ISS, water is brought there on small cargo ships that come after. They're stored in little bags and there's no running water. So when an astronaut brushes their teeth, they will squeeze out some water from a little bag and they will use that. The shower could be a little bag as well, and because there's no gravity and the water is not being pulled down the person's body, they will actually have to rub it into their skin with a cloth. Now, there definitely can't be enough water brought to the ISS for their entire mission, so astronauts actually have to reuse water. But to reuse water, we first have to recover it. So we have to recover the water that we use. This is usually in the form of sweat or urine. Then astronauts have to purify it or do purification. This makes the water clean. They use chemicals and put the water at really, really high temperatures to burn away anything that is bad. And then lastly, they will store the clean water and use it again. And the cycle continues.